The fluorescent buzz overhead was the only heartbeat in that 5 guys after midnight, a sickly hum syncing with the migraine pounding behind my eyes. Shift change in this god-forsaken strip mall off I-75, where the air hung heavy with peanut oil and unfulfilled dreams. I'd clocked in at 10 p.m., fresh off a double at the warehouse, back screaming from pallets of who knows what Louise, my mop-headed line cook buddy, with the perpetual 5 o'clock shadow, was elbow deep in the sink, scrubbing grease like it owed him money. Last rush was a ghost town, man, he grumbled, suds foaming white, storms chasing him home. Outside, rain lashed the windows in sheets, thunder growling low like a junkyard dog. We were midway through a close-up ritual, wiping counters to a shine, stacking trays like Jenga pros, when the bell above the door jangled. Not the wind. That thing was bolted tight. Footsteps followed, heavy and uneven, dragging across the welcome mat. Louise straightened, sponge dripping, his face draining color faster than bleach on tile. Who the hell? I muttered, stepping out from the grill station, spatula still in hand, like a sad excuse for a weapon. The figure loomed in the entryway, backlit by a street lamp's jaundiced glow, water pooling at his boots. 6 foot something of nightmare wrapped in a clown suit, oversized polka dot rags, patched with what smelled like mildew, and worse, a rainbow wig plastered crooked under the hood. He limped forward, one leg hitched like a puppet with cut strings, crowbar dangling from a gloved fist, scraping sparks on the floor. Makeup caked his face in a grotesque rictus. White grease paint cracked like parched earth. Black diamonds around eyes that burned fever bright. Red smear of a mouth stretched into a leer, revealing teeth filed to points. Heard the call of the wild onion, he rasped. Voice a gravel gargle laced with carnival echo. Fries so good, they scream for seconds. Louise fumbled for his cell under the counter, but Clown raised the bar slow, deliberate. Ringmaster. No encore calls tonight. We're scripting our own circus. My throat went sandpaper dry. Stores closed, freak. Back out, or we dial 911. He chuckled, a wet wheeze that bubbled phlegm, tilting his head at an angle no neck should allow. Cops. Darling, I've danced the electric boogie so many times. They named a jig after me. He mimed the chair, tongue lolling blue-black, veins pulsing like worms under the skin. Up close, the suit wasn't costume. Stains bloomed dark on the fabric, crusted edges flaking copper flecks. Real work, this. He vaulted the counter with a grunt, bar-whistling air, scattering menus like confetti from hell. Louise backed into the shake machine, trembling. Meet me at midnight, Clown crooned, rummaging drawers for tongs and knives, clinking them like wind chimes. Who's first for the flip? Rare, medium, or well screamed? We retreated to the kitchen, his shadow stretching long under the exhaust fans. Hide and honk, he announced, twirling the bar like a baton. Rules. Scream pretty, or I paint the tiles Pollock style. Louise bolted for the freezer, but I knew better. That door stuck like Guild Clown herded us with lazy swings, eyes rolling in mock delight. Blondie's got fire, ever grilled a dream, sunshine. Watch it jar while the world's too busy scrolling. He lunged at Louise, bar cracking ribs with a meaty thud. My pal hit the deck, gasping, blood flecking his apron. Spleen special, coming up, Clown hooted, stomping down. Crunch, wet snap. Louise's eyes met mine. Go. Before glazing over, I dove behind the prep island, palms slapping the panic button hidden there. Silent alarms screamed to the stars. But would it arrive in time? Crouched low, breath fogging the air. I watched through a rack gap as Clown dragged Louise's limp form to the griddle, flicking it on high. Sizzle rose, acrid and primal, mingling with that god-awful laugh. You fry like family, handsome, extra crispy for the finale. Another crack, arm or leg, didn't matter. And silence fell, broken only by the drip of something viscous hitting the drain. Then my name, drawn out, sing-song. Jamie. Where's my golden girl? Got a balloon animal for you. Pop goes the weasel. I clamped a hand over my mouth, nails digging crescents into my palm. Boxes loomed, peanut oil towers teetering. His boots scuffed closer, sniffing the air like a hound. Smell that fear flavor. Tastes like cotton candy regrets. A box toppled, avalanche slow, and there he was, face inches from the slats, breath fogging my hiding spot, those diamond eyes drilling soul deep. Peekaboo, I see you. One honk for mercy, two for the show. The bar's tip poked through, cold steel kissing my knee. I squeezed eyes shut, whispering prayers to a god who'd long ghosted. Sirens wailed distant, then close, tires biting wet asphalt. Clown paused, head cocking like a glitchy doll. Curtain call, kiddos, but we'll reprise. Poof, gone, slinking out the back like smoke. Cops burst in minutes later, vests bulky, guns drawn. They pried me out, shaking, as paramedics zipped Louise into a bag. Face pulped, torso a roadmap of brakes. Cameras, I choked. Dead, of course. Looked like that house of 1,000 corpses creep, I babbled, pulling up pics on my phone. They nodded grim. Serial clowns M.O., shifting skins. Bozo one night, Pogo the next. Heard whispers of a ringleader, but trails go cold as the grave. I quit that dawn, rain still drumming dirge. Nights now, I bolt doors triple, sleep with a bat by the bed. Dreams replay the sizzle, Louise's last gasp. Cops hit walls. No prints, no DNA, just grease smears and a faint balloon scent. But I know he's out there, makeup fresh, bar polished, hunting the next stage. Fast food's a trap for the weary, and I'm wide awake. If you flip burgers late, listen for the jangle. Some shows never end, they just reload. In the dead of night, when the city's pulse slows to a whisper and shadows swallow the sidewalks whole, I pushed open the back door of that Five Guys like it was the gateway to salvation. Hunger had clawed its way into my bones. 2 days without a crumb, my ribs poking like accusations under my threadbare shirt. Broke as a promise from a politician, jobless after the factory shuttered. One eviction notice from the streets. The alley reeked of dumpster rot and regret. But inside, grease-kissed air, thick and inviting, wrapping around me like a forbidden embrace. The grills were cold now, chairs upturned like tombstones, but the freezer hummed a siren song. I told myself it was just a peek. One burger, maybe a fistful of fries to quiet the beast in my gut. Morals, they starve faster than a man like me. My sneakers squeaked on the linoleum as I crept past the counters, heart hammering louder than the distant thunder rumbling over the sprawl of downtown Detroit. The walk-in freezer door gave with a reluctant sigh, and there it was, stacks of patties wrapped in wax paper, golden fries in crinkly bags, even a half-gallon of chocolate shake sweating beads of condensation. Jackpot. I tore into a double cheeseburger first, cold, sure, but the beef hit like liquid fire, juices bursting salty and real on my tongue. I devoured it in gulps, grease smearing my chin, then chugged the shake straight from the carton. It was thick, too sweet, spilling down my neck in rivulets that soaked my collar. Tears bricked my eyes, not from the cold, but from the sheer mercy of fullness. For a heartbeat, the world righted itself. I was alive. Then, a scrape of metal on concrete, faint but deliberate, echoing from the stockroom at the far end. Not the wind this time. Human. A low, ragged breath, followed by a muffled sob that twisted my gut worse than hunger ever did. I froze, burger wrapper crinkling in my fist. Run, idiot. But curiosity's a cruel puppeteer, and mine yanked hard. I edged toward the door, half cracked like an invitation to hell. Peering through, the room swam in dim amber from a single hanging bulb, swinging lazy like a noose. And there, bound to a rickety metal stool with zip ties biting into his wrists, sat a guy in his 40s, sweat-soaked button-down, slacks rumpled, face a mask of terror. His eyes, bloodshot and bleeding, locked on mine for a split second, before darting away. Duct tape sealed his mouth, but the whimpers seeped through, wet and desperate. Before I could bolt, laughter bubbled up from the gloom. Two women emerging like specters from a fever dream. They were dressed as deranged candy strippers, pink and white uniforms splattered with what looked like stage blood, but the metallic tang in the air said otherwise. The shorter one, buzz-cut blonde with a syringe dangling from her pocket, like jewelry, circled him slow, her heels clicking a taunt. Poor thing, she cooed, voice syrupy as spoiled milk. All checked in, no checkout. The other, raven-haired with a wild tangle of curls framing a porcelain face, hefted a gleaming bone saw, real, not prop, twirling it with the grace of a figure skater. She leaned in close, the blade whispering inches from his cheek, and he bucked against the ties, chair legs scraping sparks. Smile for the stream, Doc. Buzzcut giggled, propping her phone on a crate, red light blinking live. Hashtags already scrolling in my mind. Night shift, nightmares, patient zero. Curls tilted her head, saw humming to life with a guttural whine that vibrated my teeth. We've got a VIP audience tonight. Make it hurt, pretty. The man's eyes bulged, tears carving tracks through the grime on his face. He was no random mark, gold watch glinting under the light, wedding band scarred from desk work, corporate drone snatched after hours. My breath hitched, chest tight as a vice. This wasn't some prank reel. It was ritual, raw and rehearsed. I backed up, slow as molasses, pulse thundering in my ears. The door betrayed me with a traitorous creak, and the world snapped still. Curls' head whipped around, her lips curling into a grin that stretched ear to ear, eyes gleaming feral under the bulb. Well, hello, night owl, hungry for the show. Buzzcut lowered her phone, syringe catching the light like a fang. Audience participation. We love drop-ins. The man thrashed, a guttural plea muffled behind the tape. I didn't think, just ran. Through the kitchen, past the fryers that now smelled like fear sweat, out the back door into the alley's maw feet, pounding wet pavement, lungs screaming. I didn't stop until the neon haze of a gas station, blurred 4 blocks away. Collapsed against a chain-link fence, I retched up half the burger, the shake curdling sour in my throat. Dawn broke gray and unforgiving. I stumbled into the precinct, reeking of fries and panic, words tumbling out in a frenzy. The back door ajar, the stockroom hell, the saw's whine, the live feed. Cops nodded, stone-faced, but their eyes screamed junkie. They rolled out anyway, sirens silent, flashlights probing the dark. Hours later, a sergeant clapped my shoulder. Kid, place is pristine. No prints, no blood, no nothing. Even the freezer's stocked like it's morning rush. He slid me a trespassing warning, the kind that sticks if you're already on the edge. Hallucination. Starvation mirage. Bull. I felt their eyes on me in that split-second stare, tasted the copper promise of violence. A week dragged by in motels that smelled like stale smoke and despair. Sleep a fractured joke. Shadows and mirrors twisted into curls and buzz. Whispers in vents mimicked that saw's growl. Then, last night, a slip under my door. Crisp cardstock, scrawled in crimson ink, that flaked like dried blood. Missed you in the credits snack. Round two's on us. Eternal guest. My hands shook as I burned it in the sink. Flame dancing wild. Checked out at dawn. Crashed on a buddy's lumpy futon in the burbs. Old army pal owes me from Nam stories he never tells. He thinks it's just hard times. I can't poison his peace with this rot. But it's burrowed deep now. That night, Five Guys wasn't random. It's a stage lit for the dark web's depraved choir. Who were they? Thrill killers with a medical fetish, streaming for crypto creeps. The man's screams echo in my skull, joining the hunger's ghost. I scour the net nightly, deep dives into onion layers, chasing number patient 0 ghosts. Nothing. Yet. Paranoia's a blade, but this, it's certainty they're out there, editing footage, my blurry silhouette in the frame. Next time, no warning note, just the saw's kiss. I bolt upright at every creak. Burger dreams turning to bloodbaths. If you're reading this, steer clear of late-night grease traps. Some cravings don't die. They multiply. And mine, it's just warming up. Rain hammered the Five Guys lot, like judgment from on high. Wipers slapping futile against the torrent as I pulled in for the graveyard shift tomorrow here. 28 single moms scraping by on tips and spite, trading sleep for overtime, 'cause daycare don't pay itself. Inside, the place glowed sterile under buzzing halos. Red booths empty as my bank app. Gina, my register hawk with the killer eyeliner, yawned from behind the counter. Lori bailed again, flu or whatever. Boss texted you cover. I nodded, shaking off the wet like a mud. Figures. Storms biblical. No souls tonight. We tag-teamed close up, her humming pop trash while I scrubbed the line. The fryer hissing steam ghosts. By 11, the downpour owned the night. Lightning strobing the windows like faulty reels. Gina locked the front, chain rattling, then froze at the side door, key half turned, eyes wide on the glass. Damn, that's Lori. My rag slipped into the sink. Through the pane, slick with rain, stood our missing coworker, uniform sodden, hair a drowned rat's pelt, face pale as fryer oil. She grinned, too toothy, lips not syncing with the hollows of her eyes. Door creaked open on its own, wind or will, and she dripped in, leaving no puddle, just vapor trails that curled like fingers, back from the brink. She monotoned D, voice flat as roadkill. Cars spun out, needed the hours. Relief hit first. Girl's tough, probably walked it off. But up close, off. Jerky steps like glitching footage. Smile pinned like a death mask. Water should have puddled. It didn't. You good, Lore? I ventured, gut twisting. She cocked her head, neck popping audible. Problems. Solved. All gone. Lights flickered, shadows lunging long across the tiles. Gina edged back. Damn, book it. This ain't right. Lori's gaze snapped to her, eyes flaring ember red. You covered. I uncover. Snap. Overhead bulb burst. Glass raining sharp confetti. Dark swallowed us, save lightning's pulse painting her translucent. Skin see-through. Veins blue rivers under frost. I'm here, she hissed, closer now. Breath icy mist that frosted my lashes. Gina bolted for the back, scream swallowed by thunder. I stumbled, legs lead, as Lori drifted, floated, really. Uniform rippling like smoke. Accident on 94. Slid into the guardrail, metal kissed skull. Her hand rose, fingers elongating, nails blackening to claws. Screamed your name, damn nobody heard. Head wrenched sideways, crack like gunfire. And the wail, God, that wail, shredded the air, teeth rattling, soul scraping. It pinned me, replaying her crash. Tires shrieking, glass exploding, blood hot on dash. You clocked in, I clocked out. Thunder boomed, shattering the spell. I lunged for the exit, her claws grazing my arm. Cold fire, welts rising instant. Lock jammed, then yielded, spilling me into the gale. Rain lashed biblical, soaking to marrow, but her voice chased. Overtime's eternal friend. Slipping across the lot, sneakers hydroplaning. I glimpsed her wreck, accordioned against a pole, hood accordioned like tin foil, steam hissing accusation. Should have run blind, didn't. Lightning clawed the sky, illuminating the cab. Lori slumped wheelward, scalp split wide, gray matter matted in her ponytail, one socket empty, the other staring slack. Then, twitch. Head lolled up, bones grinding gravel, that grin splitting anew, blood bubbling lips. Told you I'd finish. Fingers scraped glass, etching pleas. Help me. I retched, world spinning, and fled into the night, her laughter weaving the wind. Cops came at Gina's 911, body bag for the car, chalk outline for sanity. Hydroplane, poor kid. They shrugged. I ghosted at the job, nights haunted by flickers. Her face in rear views, whispers in vents. Peace. Nah. Shifts end, grudges don't. If rain calls you late, listen close. Some returns ain't voluntary.